Your favorite fantasy sports league now meets the world of Pokemon. It's the Pokemon Draft League YouTube channel. 32 competitors battle it out in unexpected turns, developing rivalries, and an explosive commentator in the king himself. Subscribe now! And now, it's time for the greatest Pokemon Draft talk show on any corner of YouTube. That's right, it's Fake Out Pokemon Draft Talk, no holds barred. Welcome. This is the king, the greatest, the best of all time. We're here with another Fake Out. This is going to be week 3 to 4. Once again, I'm here with my co-host, Baby Jamie.
Wow. What's up, everybody? Good to see you again, King.
And today we are joined by Eric. He's been in the league since season 11 on and off, and we're just happy to have him. How you doing, Eric?
Season 10, but...
Season 10, wow.
Season 10, yeah, I know, I'm old. But, hi, happy to be back. I think this is the second time I've done this now?
Yeah, you were in the, I think either the Scarlet or the Violet conference, what was it called? Like the recap before playoff?
And I was the only one like that did it, because I remember for the other conference, I don't remember which conference it was, but like there were 3 people, and for us it was just me and you.
Yeah. No, you weren't the one with orange in it, and like freaking Pat was in it.
No, that was the other conference. That was the other conference.
Wow. Alrighty then. All right, so we're gonna get into it. This is week 3 and 4. We're coming at you with another segment. Here we go. Our first segment is prepping for matches. Now, everybody has a different style of prepping. I used to not prep at all, just throw the 6 mons that I thought were good at a glance. But, you know, if you're trying to win, you want to try to get the best foot forward, and you can't see where you're stepping unless you prep. So we'll go around and talk about how each other preps. And I think we'll start this time with Jamie. So, Jamie, what's your process?
Well, I think the way that I start out, and I am, you know, not known for my prepping ability, I will say. So you can take my advice with a grain of salt, but at least the way that I do it is I like to begin with looking at my opponent's team and my team and seeing what looks good and figuring out which 6 mons I need to bring. I don't make a move set at a time. I just pick the mons that I think will fit together best on a team versus my opponent, and then I'll go in and I'll look at individual move sets for each mon second. This is at least how it works for me. I'm in a bit of a crisis right now because something's certainly not working. So honestly, this is going to feel like a bit of a therapy session talking to both of you here and figuring out what you guys do and maybe how I can improve at least.
Eric, you got anything for him?
So, with the way I prep, I don't prep nearly as well as I used to because times have changed, but at my best, you know, when I came back in season 15, I decided this is the way I'm going to prep. I go in, I look at my opponent's team, I write down each Pokemon, and I write down everything that I know they have. Like, everything from abilities to moves to potential move combos, you know, what does this do? And so for me, prepping is also an opportunity to kind of test myself and test my knowledge. And so, you know, I hit a point where I'm like, all right, that's all I've got. If I think it's good enough, you know, if it's a mon that doesn't really do much outside of one thing, I can move on. If I don't feel satisfied with it, I do my research. And so I used to put a lot more time into prep, especially season 15 and season 16. And both times I think it worked out pretty well, particularly in 15. So for me, it's very holistic. Prep is very holistic to me because you have to take as much into account as you can, but also recognize what's going to be there and what's not going to be there. And so once you recognize, you know, for example, once I build like a sample team that I think could be brought, I start considering options for dismantling it. And so that's where my prep kind of comes from, is a very holistic kind of viewpoint.
So yeah, that's very well put. I agree with you. Like with both of you, you want to look at what look at their team and see what's the best mons to go on their team against their team. However, I recently this season I'm taking it a little step further, especially with the Terra going on, because let's say like my team always has Hitmonchan. Even if the enemy was -10 on fighting resist, I'm not gonna build my team like around Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan's definitely gonna come. Pause. He will be brought to the match, but he's still a tier 5. So the way I've been prepping now is top down. Like, I need at least my Tapu Lele or my Cinderace, maybe like, you know, Suicune, or like, yeah, those 3 basically. One of those 3 is going to carry the match. How am I going to get the other 5 Pokemon to help me do that? So if they're -10 on fighting, I'm definitely going to bring Hitmonchan to break through a couple of their checks so that Cinderace can come in and clean up the rest. Or Tapu Lele can come in and clean up the rest. And like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm bringing the best 6 Pokemon for them, but the best 6 Pokemon based on breaking down their weakness while also qualifying for my win condition. There's
Exactly.
no point in having 6 counters but no win condition. Sure, like, all right, so if it just so happens that freaking like my Donphan is really good, like basically my tier 3s all the way down to my tier 5s, if they were all good at the matchup, it doesn't matter. Like, I can bring all 6 of them, but still I need the higher picks to actually do something, right? So yeah, that's my thought process. It's very top down focused. Also, I'm a very top heavy team. I got a lot of tier 1s and 2s, and then like the rest of my team is struggling. So
I think that top down approach is good, because in the past I've taken like a bottom up approach where I've like focused more around countering the opponent's offensive threats, and I think that's how you can easily fall into just playing reactionary and not playing proactively.
yeah,
And so you're going to get, you're not going to have the momentum. You're always going to be thinking with that defensive mind, and that's not how you take mons from your opponent. Just not.
Right.
In this meta, I don't think you can't afford to be reactionary with the Terra. There's too many threats going on right now for you to wait for them to do something. They will always have the upper hand. Eric, you got something?
No. I think
I was gonna also
point.
mention that. Yeah, I was also just gonna mention real quick that like Terra has added like another layer of.
It's another dimension altogether. It's awful.
Yeah, it's so much more to think about that I just was not ready for starting this season out.
I don't think it's. I am used to it because I just play like the most games that I've played have been in Gen 7 and this gen of Gen 9. Gen 6 a little, but Gen 7 and Gen 9 are my most played games. I did not like Gen 8. But that being said, the Terra, I'm just used to it. I don't like it, but I'm used to it enough to not be like devastated that it's there, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, like, so we talked about like how we prep now. Do you feel like you were prepping better than you were before, or is it like kind of like the same, or did you get worse?
Well, so for me, when I first hooked up here in season 10, season 11, season 12, I really just used Smogon sets because I thought Smogon knew better than I did. And so, and I always think that's a good like jumping off point for the most part, but then you have to put more effort into it, and I definitely put a lot more effort into it from 15 and 16. And now we're kind of back to where I was before, not because I don't know what I'm doing, but because I don't have the time to do what I was doing.
Right,
So
that makes
it is just different.
You always gotta fight. Yeah, you always gotta fight for time, especially as adults. And yeah. So I was doing the same thing at the beginning in season 7, where I was just doing Smogon sets for most of my Pokemon, because the only sets that I knew were Suicune sets, and they were trolls anyway, because I was only played on cartridge on old games anyway. So I was running Whirlpool, Toxic, and Rest, and Calm Mind as my sets. Yeah, and it wasn't until I said, "Oh, I need to actually look to see what's good competitively," did I switch to Scald, because Smogon said so. And then I didn't like really change what I was doing for many seasons, up until like maybe season 12, where I decided to do something else, because I gave up stall. I was stalling most of my seasons every season I played. So I didn't need to change anything, because like the Smogons, the definitive set was you needed XYZ checks, period, point blank period, and you couldn't change it. So that's another. I think I did get better, because not only did I get off stall, but this season and the recent seasons, you can't play reactionary. If you're playing defensively, it's just a coin flip to see if the opponent has what you like prepped for it or not.
Right.
You can't prep on a defense. You can't prep on a stall team, because it's either they have it or they don't. There's no reason to prep.
Exactly. I agree. It's added so much to the game and this meta, and I think a lot of people have said it. This meta skews so offensive, and you do have to be proactive, and you really can't play that much defense, because you're going to fall behind so quickly.
Just going back to my match versus Armand, what was I gonna say? The match versus Armand, I attempted to play defensively. This is, I think, week 2. I attempted to play defensively. I had Roar, I had some phases going on, and I still, because of the Terra, because there were so many threats, just like many of the other teams in the league, although it worked at the beginning, as Mons dropped, I did not have those checks anymore. And I did not have the damage or the speed to counter what he was doing. And all it takes is one false move where you don't check what they're doing, and it's over. You lose your counters. Right? Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good segment. Let's move on to the next segment. All right. The next segment is about your mental and its effect in matches. You know, a great songwriter once said, when your 6 mons fall down to the floor and your mental can bear no more, what do you do with that? You know, we're going to jump into it right now. I'm going to start with Eric. This is his segment he wanted to bring up, but I think it's very important in the league. It is. So, talk to me a little bit about mental, positive or negative or whatever, and its effect on your matches and effect on other people's matches. Go ahead.
Well, so yeah, I am as the pinnacle of mental health in the UCO. So much happens in a match that can kind of sway your mood one way or another. You know, making a good call can obviously raise your spirits. Making a wrong call can obviously, lower you down a little bit. It is so important for me, as someone who is, again, the pinnacle of mental health, to keep my head in the game as much as I can. Say, not how have I lost this, but how is this still winnable? Even when it's not, you want to keep, in your head that anything can happen, and that it's super important to, to keep yourself in a positive state, because if you self-destruct, there's not much you can do. And I've self-destructed a fair few times.
Yeah, you don't want the self-destruct to happen, whether it be in the middle of the match, because we've seen that before. My best memory of it is, like basically anytime Harry loses.
Yep.
Or like something happens to Harry, it's over.
Yep.
The Harry Darla game from season 11. That one was the Mew transforming into the Bisharp, and then the Mew Bisharp killing the regular Bisharp to win the game, and then Harry quit.
Yeah.
That one, he's forfeited against me before. Yeah, that sticks out in my head. Or like myself, I don't tilt in the middle of the game. If I lose and I continue to lose, it's just a snowball effect. Kind of like how last place to playoffs went last year. At the beginning of the season, I started losing a lot, and I didn't get a second wind until close to the end of the season. And by that time, it's too late, because my mental was just so low. I was not able to get out of the rut. The prep was bad. Going back to our last segment, the prep was bad. Just the morale was bad in the locker room, in the Finnabus locker room,
Right.
and I just couldn't feel like I could get a hold of myself to win games. So yeah, I think that you got to keep your head above water, in the match or just through the season.
Yeah, one match that I think of as like the pinnacle of, well, one match that features me in a positive way, because we've talked about the negative ways a couple times. But one way that had me on the winning end finally was my all-time favorite match I've ever played, season 15, Eric versus Brady. Brady has this thing where he does immediately self-destruct the moment something goes wrong.
This very second it goes wrong.
It is instant.
Once he starts typing, you know you win.
You've got him, like, I don't know if you need to censor this, but you've got him by the balls at that point.
No, we're already demonetized. We're not, and we don't have over 500 subscribers, so there's no monetization, so it doesn't matter.
We're good.
Nah.
But yeah, it is instant. So there was a point in the match where I was mega low punny behind substitute with, I think, at least one attack boost in front of Buzzwole. Buzzwole just needs to hit a dual wing beat, and La Punny's dead, and I probably lose that match at that point.
Yeah. Oh, but he missed. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He got the exact 10% to miss. And the first thing I type in chat, because I know I can mess with Brady a little bit. First thing I type is, just interesting. It was, and part of that was because there was a lot of build up to that. Because Brady and I can go at it. I don't hate Brady. Brady hates me. I don't know why. I don't care why.
Oh, you guys were at the college at the same time. So I guess you would have.
Yes, at one point. When I first joined the league, I just started college, and I believe he was just finishing up college, potentially. Okay. But yes, I've met him in person. He's a lot more pleasant. But the moment he starts typing, everything goes wrong for him.
Yeah, he's more pleasant in person. He was at the in real life draft.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just seems like he can't control himself, and that's another thing of mental. You have to keep yourself under control.
Yeah.
You can't let yourself spiral out. I've done it.
Once that happens,
it's not cute.
Yeah. I've learned from my profession and from just, like, I don't know, being married, I guess, and Pokemon altogether. Once you lose control of yourself, everything else will fall apart around you.
Yep, exactly.
I've
If
definitely
you
been
can't
guilty of
control,
that.
yeah, if you can't control yourself, then you can't control anything else outside of yourself. Period.
Exactly. Correct. It's so important to keep on keeping on, because if you let that happen, you have no one else to blame. At that
Jamie,
point,
you get. Oh, go
sorry,
ahead. Go ahead,
Jamie.
sir.
No, well, at that point, extenuating circumstances, they happen, and if they're bad enough and you spiral because you're overwhelmed or whatever, that's one thing. But if you let stuff get to you, that's on you. That's how I
Yeah.
look at it.
Jamie, I know this isn't in your wheelhouse, but you got anything to add on to this?
Well, listen, I'm just as susceptible as anyone. You know, the amount of times that I've been after a game in my team chat, just venting to anyone who will listen. You know, I consider that the team chat my safe space for talking some shit or
Yeah.
talking through a tough loss to the admins, and you know, writing it out. Sometimes you'll get a laugh or something, and that'll make me feel a little bit better. But I guess my question is like, how do you to Eric, I guess, is like, how do you stop a like you'll see sometimes in the UCL, somebody will take an ego hit, they'll have a rough loss that they thought they should have won, and then they'll just like trade away or FA their entire team right there.
Yeah.
They'll you know, sometimes they'll get rid of mons that maybe weren't the problem and maybe they could have used. You know, how do you take yourself above it at that moment and say, you know what, I need to look at this from an objective perspective? Is there a way, like, post game, to step away from that?
So immediately post game, probably not. There is a point at which you have very heightened emotion, and you're just like operating on autopilot, and you let the voices in, which is something you should never do. But
Yeah.
As a reminder, season 15, I had a bit of a mental boom early on. When I think I was 1-3, I ended up winning my conference from 1-3. And so there were mods that I traded away that year that I wish I had kept, but there's always a way to dig yourself back in. And that's something that you always have to have in the back of your head. Unless you're like about to get 6-0'd, any match can be winnable, given the right circumstance. There are some matches you lose on prep. It is difficult to take that. But it's always important to remember that, you know, you can always find a way back into a match and at least make it close.
Yeah. And all right, so adding on to kind of like going back, I guess, to spiraling. Another way you see somebody spiral, or something you can't blame, or just like chalk the game up, is to RNG or whatever. I see this a lot, like say with HelioView, with Nick,
Oh yeah, Nick
when he
Gardner.
first starting. Every single time, like, it's not just the RNG of a flinch or a paralyzation or something. There were other turns in that game other than that turn. Something led up to that point, and it had to have been at some point your fault that you made it to that point. So if you just sit there and fester and say, "Oh, this is RNG, this is RNG," you're stuck in not just a negative mental state, but you're stuck in a state of denial, which is a state of, you know, the 7 stages of grief, but it's the early stage, and you don't want to be in the early stage. You want to be in the later stage of acceptance, so you can like find improvement or consolidation in what went wrong, right? So that blaming is not going to freaking work.
Yeah.
Another stage.
In the words of a great, denial is a river in Egypt. You can't let that get in your head. There are times. Yeah, oh, I love it. There are times when it's a 1v1. You miss a hydro pump, you lose the match. There are times where you can genuinely say, I couldn't have done anything else to fix that. That can happen.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that doesn't happen. But you're right in saying that almost every time someone blames RNG, the reason that they had to rely on RNG is because they were outplayed. Or because something happened in that match to make them rely on RNG to win.
And RNG is just part of the game, you know?
It's literally, it's numbers. I'm sorry you feel sad about numbers.
Yeah, and I wanna just like go even further on the RNG, talking about that and like letting it get to your mental. Some Pokemon rely on RNG.
Yes.
Any Serene Grace Pokemon needs the RNG of a flinch or whatever status ailment they're trying to put onto you.
Correct.
It's not just like RNG is a necessity in the game. There's some moves that you should not take if you're not trying to get the 30% poison or 30% paralyzation or something.
Right.
Yeah, if that was the case, everybody would be taking Hyper Beam and Hydro Cannon and everything else just with the highest damage. Right?
Yeah.
This shit matters. And like, but yeah, going back to mental, all that stuff we're talking about adds on to, I guess, the quote unquote stresses or whatever. I know it's not, this is a game, but you know, even in any sort of competition or it's a competitive atmosphere, you do feel a stress of competition, right? So you can't let that get to you, period. If you do, you're definitely going to lose some games or some points of the match where you shouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think
good.
ego does come into it at some points, you know?
Ego, yeah.
Oh yes.
For sure. We got some big egos in here.
Oh yes.
In the UCL. But
really, who?
Yeah, who could you possibly be talking
I don't
about?
want to name any names.
We the members of the U3L don't know what you're talking about.
Jamie, we'd like names.
Like, I know I am the best, you know, maybe the numbers don't say it, but you know, I don't need numbers to say it. I just know what I am. So,
all ego aside, no ego from me, but the Threat, Kadeen, and the Prepped and the King, they all disagree with you. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what's going on right now.
We in the U3L are saying that you're full of shit. So
okay,
and we are the best.
We'll see what happens in our match, huh? We'll see, right? If that's the case,
the girlies are fighting today. Jeez.
Are you disrespecting the King? You better be glad you're on the other side of the conference.
I literally just said you two are just getting feisty with each other. I said literally nothing wrong.
All right, well, next season you're next.
You're assuming that. Well, we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
I mean, I actively asked for you in my conference, and I didn't get it. I don't get what I want, and you don't get what you want, and then sometimes it just happens. And you know what? No, you know what? I just blame RNG.
You don't want these problems, is what I'm saying. You're talking about you want me in your conference. You don't want these problems.
It's just RNG. I have enough problems. I don't need yours. I don't need them. I want them.
I'm a threat.
To who? No, I'm kidding. See, that also goes into mental. How you act outside the matches kind of goes into it.
That's a strategy.
Yes, absolutely. Because I make no qualms about the fact that I am probably the bitchiest person in the UCL. And I would say it's actually not even close. Pat Bonner would argue it. I don't think it's close. I'm just very catty, and I will always have something to say, and that does play into mental because that can get in people's heads. I don't do it to do that. I do it because I find it very funny, and it's kind of my brand of humor. But that's exactly where, you know, everything builds up to it, and that's part of why the Brady match was so satisfying, because Brady was just absolutely shit talking. Like, he was like, I'm going to bring Jigglypuff and 6-0 your ass. And I'm like, all right, if that's what you think. And I believe I 6-0'd him. I believe it was either a 5-0. It was either a 5-0 or a full 6-0. And
yeah.
I will never forget the feeling of sitting there after that match and said, you know what? this is my year. And turns out it kind of was.
Now, I think, well, I know that the shit talking it's part of my strategy. And like another person that utilizes this strategy a lot too is Tim.
Yep.
He'll sit there and shit talk and just troll and do whatever he needs to do to get what he wants or to win, get into your head, and then the match comes and you're thinking about other stuff other than the match. You're thinking about what he said to you,
Right.
or like you're thinking about. With me, you're like, oh god, he just killed he got the first blood, he got the first mon. Now I bet everybody's gonna be laughing at me if I lose to the king. I gotta try harder. Oh no, I made a mistake, and then I got you.
Right.
That's happened with a lot of people that have fallen into the trap, fallen into my snare, into my clutches. Yeah.
Your snare.
Castle Walls. Look it up. It's on Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like 3,000 damage or something.
I barely know what
I only know
Yu-Gi-Oh
Pot of
is.
Greed.
It's amazing how much is talked about in the UCL that I just have no clue about.
It's that time. We're gonna talk about our favorite matches or whichever one from week 3 and week 4. Let's start off with our guest. Eric, what do you got for us? What's your favorite match out of these 2 weeks? Who was hitting hard? Who brought the best set or made the best play?
I mean,
what you got?
I mean, you have to give it. Give me Sam Time in Kalamazoo in week 3.
That
was just phenomenal.
Phenomenal match. I love watching that.
Such good entertainment, such good viewing. It's such a. Watching Sam play is always a lot of fun because Sam's another one we've talked about, mental. Sam's another one that can get in his own head, but when he's not, he is just a joy to watch. Just
like starting off the bat, you knew this game was a banger.
Yeah.
Because
always
Sam had calculated his HP or whatever his defense is on this Crabominable to live against Kartana and then return KOs it.
So,
tier 5 to against killing a tier 1 and getting the lead there.
That's the kind of thing that you see only in Draft League, right?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. And that's someone who's also gotten blasted by a Crabominable. It is not a fun feeling.
Yeah, and then let's see. Chris goes in with the Cleavor afterwards. That Pokemon is we'll see what happens to that Pokemon later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets the return kill, but the damage is already done. He gets the Iron Treads in for free, gets another kill, and now he's up. Basically, he's up two Pokemon because Crabominable is tier 5. It's not worth anything. He's up. He's way up. He's getting free Earthquakes in. So Iron Treads gets a lot of damage down. And now what do we see with this Bramblegast?
we see RNG work its magic is what we do. We see
exactly.
It's a vintage moment where we see, a Shadow Sneak that is put in blind into a switch in. I don't know if he was expecting the switch in. I think he wanted to just click it into Cleavor, but he ended up getting so much more bang for his buck because of the switch in and the super effective and the critical hit.
And the Terra.
And the Terra definitely helped.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also,
at that point, I don't know if it mattered because that hit was just phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nickname Samblegast is just a top tier nickname. I will say.
Exactly. You knew it was going to do something.
Yeah.
And I think Bramblegast is just a sidebar. I think Bramblegast is a cool mon. They just need some more time in the sun. It's not strong enough though. That's the only reason. But it definitely showed that it was strong enough on this game.
It heard you say that and said, "Really?"
Exactly. And at the end of the game, the Manaphy is not just a fast sweeper. It has a little bit of defense, and then what another thing I was looking at with this Cleavor, what is Chris doing? Stone Axe, sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes you need the Stone Edge.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need Stone Edge. It's not strong enough. Stone Axe is not strong enough. So if you're trying to use Cleavor in an offensive manner and not a utility, you gotta have Stone Edge. You can't have Stone Axe on that shit.
Well,
Chris loves Stealth Rock so much, though. You know, like
Yeah.
I think he's always taking Stone Axe.
Agreed. It is something he loves, and it's something that he can get for free with an attack. So it's something he probably zeroes in on.
I hear you, but I don't think it's free, because the Stone Edge would be free. You get a strong attack off, and it's guaranteed damage, while the Stealth Rocks is only hypothetical damage.
Well,
and especially this late in the game, he really needed that Stone Edge damage to kill this Manaphy off, so he can get a free super effective hit against the Pelipper.
But also bring it back to RNG. Stone Edge is notorious for missing very often.
Yeah.
It's only an 80%. Stone Axe is a 90%, but at least that's better. You have to kind of balance taking the hit in power for the Stealth Rocks and for the better chance to hit.
I get that, but you're dropping. What is that? So Stone Edge is 100% plus a little bit extra crit. I mean, 100 damage plus the crit. Stone Axe is 65 without sharpness. I think they both get sharpness too, because Edge and Axe are both.
I don't know. I don't know if
Do they?
Edge counts for sharp. I'm gonna
Edge is in the cutting
look
move.
that up right now. We're gonna do some investigating.
It's got Edge in the name. I feel like it should be.
It
says
probably.
Edge.
My guess is it does, but I don't know for sure. It does not.
It doesn't get sharpness.
It does
Interesting.
not benefit from sharpness.
All right, so and my next question is Stone Axe
Yes.
with the sharp. How much boost does sharpness get?
Sharpness
how
is
much?
1.5
1.5.
and brings it to
That's
97 and a half,
97.
which you can
Yeah.
round up to 100.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, yeah, I would say Stone Axe is worthwhile. You're not getting quite as many crits probably, but it is still really
I don't
worth
know.
it for that damage output.
That's interesting.
Okay.
I feel like Stone Axe is worth it every single time then, because you get the extra 10% chance to hit, and you get
Yep,
Stealth Rocks.
and you also get 16 more usages of it because Stone Edge only has 8 PP.
All right, I recall my statement about Stone Axe versus Stone Edge. Then
Well,
Yeah, I am clearly wrong.
I didn't know Stone Edge didn't go under sharpness. You said that, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait, it should. It sounds like it should,
sounds like it should.
but it doesn't. And I've learned something new. We've all learned something new. The more you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, love
yeah.
Sam, love Chris's match. That was
This match is very
really
good.
fun one to watch. Jamie.
So that was mine. So yeah, what's Jamie got?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly bring up my match of the week was definitely Trevor Trombley versus Will Toms versus Bisquick, our streamer. I do show quite a bit of bias to Will Toms, as we all do.
as we all should.
But both two titans of the league here in Will Toms and Trevor. It was a game that came right down to the wire, with a sort of photo finish ending.
Yeah.
That I just really enjoyed. And I think we had quite a bit of people watching, and I think
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the great thing about watching a Bisquick game is that you also get to watch him stream it, and you get to see his thought process.
You get to
behind
hear it.
some of his moves, which is always kind of funny, or it can be very compelling as well.
Right.
Now I've gone on the record for being a Will Toms hater. I'm
You
a Will
have.
Toms hater still.
Ouch.
I'm still a Will Toms hater.
Okay.
Sorry. That's all there is to it. I don't know what's going on in this season. How he's being able to dispatch all these people.
Yeah, I mean, he took Chris week 1 and just bodied him.
Yeah, and then he's going on a tear though, so I can't deny it. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna last.
You don't
I
have
don't
to
think
like
it's
it.
gonna
You don't have to like it. You kind of have to respect it, though.
He does have the Volcarona on this team, which is like, I think it's just super good. Well,
It
we all
is.
know it's super good with the Terra. He's got
Absolutely.
a lot of good supporting mons in the Slowbro. I've touched on the Iron Jugglers before. I don't like this Pokemon, but it's working on his team. He's also
Yeah.
got the Lycanroc Dusk, and then a really good low tier with the Muck with the defensive. I think I already went through this spiel again. His team is good. I wasn't a believer in his gameplay, but he's showing in games like this too, where it goes down to the wire. He's showing he can hang with the best of them.
Yep. I
Yeah,
fully
absolutely.
agree.
And dealing with this team, you know, Trevor's got the King Gambit. He's got the Mamoswine. He's got the iconic Chestnut. You know, it's a solid team, and it was tough to deal with. So it was good to see him to see Will play around it, and you know, Trevor played well. It just came down to a 50-50 at the end that Will was able to figure out.
Fun quick story about King Gambit, because Cody and I did the draft. We were the ones running the draft, and basically everyone was operating under the assumption that Galen was picking King Gambit first. And I don't remember where that came from, but for us to sit there dumbfounded as King Gambit kept dropping on the board, we were like, what happened here?
Yeah.
Like, it went maybe...
What? Well, yeah, where did it go? When was King Gambit
on it.
picked?
King Gambit was picked
turn?
at 18.
That's
18.
wow.
A
the
lot
most
lower
Considering
than
how
we
good it is
thought.
in OU.
The most used Pokemon in OU.
Is
At
it?
18.
I thought it was Great Tusk.
No, so
It's
it overtook
Twitch as of-
Great Tusk in the month of in last month. It
Okay.
overtook him.
Got it. Because Great Tusk also went outside top 10. Great Tusk was 11.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
all made mistakes. It's okay.
So that was my secondary pick. I was really building around Tapu Lele, so I ended up picking that. But if I didn't get it, I was gonna go Great Tusk instead. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Great Tusk dropped to Kevin Neary, who has been singing the praises of Great Tusk ever since he drafted
Of
it,
course.
and has been proving that it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's good.
it is
It
good.
is good. Yeah. Even in the I know I did the Smogon kickoff tour, I guess, and it was like 15 points as opposed to the highest points being 19. The highest tier was 19 points, and it was in 15, and it looked kind of strange. But there was a lot of Pokemon, and there, like Iron Bundle was freaking in that.
Yeah, I was
in
about
that
to say. I
game,
remember
yeah.
seeing, and I also remember seeing that board. I did not participate because I was not in the position to care.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing like the top tiers. Some of them just had like 1 or 2 Pokemon in it.
Yeah.
So even at 16, it's still easily one of the best on the board.
Yeah. But yeah, this match was really good. Really good for Owen Bisquick to not attack on the first turn. It's definitely the 50-50. If Bisquick Will got hit on that turn where he used Swords Dance, he would have lost the game right there, but he instead predicted the Sucker Punch, and he's able to outspeed and still in that same +2 priority bracket or whatever plus priority bracket, he was able to win that one, outspeed and win. So that was good on him, and he definitely deserved this win.
Absolutely. And if he got hit by that Sucker Punch, he was good as dead. I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Well, it was already
Sorry.
times 2, and it's not a
Yeah.
defensive mod.
At that point,
Yeah,
you're,
that was
you're
gonna be
done. So you had to play that so carefully, because that is one wrong move, and you go into that point where I say, or where you say RNG did it, but really it's what could you have done better, and that's one of those things that you just have to hope you've done the right thing. And in that
Sucker
case,
Punch. Yeah, Sucker Punch is such a dance move. You gotta
is.
you're dancing around it.
Yeah, and what Trevor thought Will was going to do there, I guess, was Swords Dance up again, thinking that that he was going to keep playing that game, but Will just decided to send it.
he
with
decided
the
it
SL
was done.
We are now at the final segment of the week. It's time. You know what it is. It's over under who's going to shit and who's going to the top. We're going to start. Who do we start with last time? We started with Eric, so let's go over to Jamie this time. Jamie, who is your player who's rising up to the top?
Well, I will say I'm very happy to see Luke, the cream, rising to the top. Luke performing very well this season, as he should. You know, I think we all know that Luke is very, very good. It's good to see him performing well early on. I think some seasons, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like Luke will struggle a little bit in the beginning and then get his big wins later and always make playoffs inevitably. But it's good to see him, you know, staying. It seems like he's had a strong start so far.
Yeah, he's already won a summer league, and he's always been in contention. He's never been in a finals in one of the main leagues, which is weird to me, but he's always like right there. He's right on that last step to the finals, and something happens and it goes wrong. And it's only a matter of time before it's his turn. And this season could very well be his turn.
Yeah, I think it's been his time for a while, and so I'm looking forward to seeing him, you know, hopefully continue this run through the rest of the season.
All right, Eric.
My over and my under have a certain theme. And so I'm going to say my over is Trevor Hunsbet, for sure. It seems like he's got a lot of weight, like, off his shoulders now. Because, you know, I think he's and this will give away who my under is, but he's gotten rid of the commissioner debuff. And he's finally, like, coming to his own. He's hasn't lost yet, and all of his wins have been super convincing, like 3-0s and 4-0s and 5-0s. And I think he may actually have the stamina at this point to go all the way. But that will be time will tell. But I've been super impressed with him thus far. He's another one that, like, it's kind of been his time, but obviously, you know, commissioners have debuffs put upon them. It's basically been proven. And you know, now that he doesn't have that holding him back, now that he can just focus on his games, I think this could be his turn.
Yeah, he's got a really good team, and I will say that he is definitely looking dangerous. Looks like he's having a good time.
He looks like he's having fun.
He's just stomping people.
Okay, so my over going to the moon, it's just his season again. In the Indigo Conference, we got Pat Flynn. Again. We already know what's going to happen. Yeah. He's the final boss. If Chris is not the final boss, it's Pat Flynn, the final boss. He's the Lance of the league, and he's just gonna win all over again.
Listen. Pat Flynn is dangerous, but I am the Pat Flynn killer. So, you know, he's lucky that he's in the other conference. That's all I'll say.
I think I've beaten Pat Flynn maybe once, so I'll take that.
I beat him once in the regular season, but he consistently loses to me in anything that's not Nat Dex or OU. If we're playing a random battle, if we're playing freaking low tiers, he's not good at any of those. So, very lucky that UCL is Nat Dex draft.
Yeah, he's been so good for so long.
Yeah,
he's always in contention for a ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, underrated. Go ahead, back to Jamie.
Who's trash? Let's start naming names.
It sounds like Eric and I had the same person because because I will say, you know, not ruffling any feathers. I'm not trying to get banned from the Discord or anything, but where's Cody at? You know, when's he gonna show up?
Where's he at?
Where's he at? Like, I know Cody has performed well in the past, and it's weird to see him at the bottom. Is all I'll say.
Commissioner curse.
It is. It absolutely is.
That's all there is to it. He's just, I don't know. Like, everybody in his conference is better. Not conference, in his division is doing way better than him. He's got Luke, Bay, and David.
Bay's
and they're
another
all,
one, though.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Bay's
That could be a
another one
winnable
that
conference,
has been a
though.
shocker.
Yeah. Shocking. He needs to. I don't know what's going on. He needs to turn it around. Maybe it's either the team. He needs mental help.
Maybe he just needs a hug,
something.
yeah. Something
He
like
needs
that.
something. Maybe there's something in the water.
He's hurting.
Yeah, in upstate New York.
Yeah, something's in that water.
Yeah.
Eric, what you got on? Who's trash? Who's overrated? Who needs to be put in their place or whatever?
So I was gonna say Cody because that was the theme of my picks. Is Trevor's no longer commissioner? He's great. Cody is now commissioner. He's trash. But I think it's important to continue as you started, and I said this last time. Chris Jorg is washed. Chris Jorg is not good anymore.
It's over.
It's
I'm
over.
telling you. I've been saying it before draft. I said it before the draft.
And it's so funny when I got to see the divisions for the first time, and I saw Chris. I was like, "Well, shit, what am I supposed to do here?" And now we're at a point where there is no one in my division that's any good.
Chris is in my division. Nope.
Well, of course you have to be scared of him because you don't know what he's capable of at any given point. But the thing is, now we're starting to see cracks in the veneer because Chris has had it too good for too long, and it's finally, I think, catching up to him. Of course, I said that season 15. What did he do in playoffs? He went on and won. But of course, I can say what I want. I'm not that good either. I'm not in a good position either. But no one in my division is, and I can feel free to punch down right now.
All right,
I'm
about to say something.
I think you guys are haters.
Oh, go ahead.
That's all I'll say.
Go ahead.
I don't hate Chris.
hating.
I think he is washed. I don't hate him as a person. There's a difference.
I'm a Chris truther. I hate him as a person.
Okay.
He's trying to steal my life.
All right.
I got the Asian girlfriend. He got the Asian girlfriend. He decided to get a nice job after I got a nice job.
I haven't seen a
to-
picture of his fiance, but
He wants to get married after I get married. I move into a house. He's trying to move into a house. What's wrong with this guy? Now I'm about to say something crazy.
say it. I'm ready. I'm ready for names.
I'm telling you, you guys are gonna be mad when I say who's the overrated. Is
No, I'm
actually
not, because I have a feeling in the back of my head I know
you're
what
gonna
it
say
is.
I'm bullshit. It's
I'm
fucking
heated.
Trevor Huntsman.
Really?
Is trash.
Oh my god.
He's
That
ass.
that is
It's
a hot
not-
take.
Here we go. I'm gonna tell you why.
All right.
He said it in a different chat, but I was already looking at it and scheming and thinking this dude is the luckiest man alive in the early season. First off, let's just look at the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule here. He's going against first week 1 against Commissioner Cody. Gets a win there. Okay, easy game, right? We're at a depowered Cody.
I mean, in retrospect, yes, an easy game.
Okay, it doesn't matter in retrospect. It is what it was.
Yes.
It's easier to see now, but back then he was still depowered Commissioner Cody. We just didn't know it yet.
Right.
Cody's losing to everybody, so he gets that free win. It's considered free right now because Cody's been losing. Who did I face? Nick. Nick is in the middle of the pack. He's always been in the middle of the pack. He even topped the division, the conference last season. I beat him in week 1. Let's go on to week 2. Trevor goes against the Lombardos. Trash. They're not even looking at the screen. They're not looking at the screen. They're not playing the game. They're just having fun until they get to the King week, and then Antonio wants to try to do something. He gets a free win of the Lombardos. You know they're not trying. Me, week 2, I face Armand. Armand is a contender. You can't lie and tell me he's not a contender. He has Blaziken.
Yeah, he is.
He has Super Blaziken
He
this
has
season.
Super Blaziken.
Super Blaziken.
I love that. I love him for that.
And at that point, I was not the U3 All. I was not powered up. That's crazy. So I go 1-1.
I should get one of those.
I go 1-1. He gets 2 free wins. Let's go to week 3. John Porch,
Well.
an ex-commissioner who went 0-31 in one of the seasons, or 0 and freaking he went double digits in 0 wins
He had
in
0
one
wins.
season.
Yeah.
He lost to Trey. He lost to Matt L. in those weeks, and in that season, he did not win a single game. So he gets the 3rd free win. Who I go against Jamie. I lose to Jamie. Jamie really did the best he could. He fought his heart out and barely scraped by with 4 differential.
And it was easy.
He's barely scraped by the skin of his teeth, actually. he was limping out of that.
Scraped by with 4
feisty.
differential.
He scraped by with 4 differential, and it would be a shocker if that happened again.
I wish
But
I had
going
wine
back
to
to-
drink to this.
But you know, that's gonna come to it later. We don't know what's gonna happen there. That's in the future. But we know in the past, you know, he scrapes by, but Trevor gets a free win in week 3. Let's go to week 4. You can't get a better a better early season than this. Trevor faces David. I don't even know who this dude is. Is that Jazz
Ouch.
Hands?
Yes.
Is that Jazz Hands? It's Jazz
Yes.
Hands. Okay. Well, I'm not saying David's bad, but I'm not impressed. Let's leave it there. He's not bad, but I'm not impressed. I just like I face Cody, I get an easy win right there. So I'm 2-2 right now. Trevor has gotten every single low tier player so far. That I bet the next one's he's got Faye next, a new player. In week 6, he's got Matt L. What is going on? Cody had to rig it.
Rigged it for
Okay,
his
whatever.
boy.
Faye's
I was about to say.
Faye's doing good, but they are still new.
True.
I've seen them play in the other leagues with all the with Dari, with Donovan, my friend from work,
Right.
and go down to the wire. I know this person's not that great. They're doing very good, and I'm very surprised. I'm happy for them. But
Yeah.
when you look at from what I know on paper, how the hell did Trevor get all these easy games at the beginning to build up to learn his team, and then he doesn't have a hard match until maybe week 7. He's got Mike Bolano. I'm not convinced on that one either.
So I've made my feelings on Mike very clear. I think he is overrated as hell.
Overrated as hell.
He's
not my
another one that.
I'm gonna get to Mike. I got words for Mike, but for right now, I'm going after Trevor
Yeah.
because this is some bullshit. And then he gets an actual hard stop at week 8. He faces Luke, and then he has to go against Jamie, and then go against he gets a reprieve on EJ after that. So we'll see if he can hold out in these next couple fake out episodes, but I don't think he's he's up to scratch. I think he's just been getting some easy.
Smoke.
Yeah.
He's got some smoke coming for him in our game, but I will say, you know, he is winning the games though. Like, he's not dropping it. He's not dropping the ball. He's playing consistent. He hasn't messed up.
Yeah, it's really hard to mess up writing your ABCs and doing your 1, 2, 3s.
Oh no.
1, 2, 3. Anyway, we're gonna keep moving on. So, anybody else have a comment?
No. No, I
Exactly,
don't.
because we know that I'm right. We know it. He had an easy start.
We'll see how things go. How about
I will
that?
say, I hadn't
I
looked
already
at the
know
schedule.
how things go. This guy, oh my god. I can't wait till I win the division. I can't wait.
Are you two in the same division?
We're in the same division.
Cute. I didn't. I completely forgot about that because I don't pay attention to your conference the way I should.
Well, it's not your conference. I don't even look over there.
I have enough to worry about.
I do not look at the Indigo conference. I don't look at it.
I just have to beat Perez. We just have to keep it. We actually, really, so long as this division just stays legendarily terrible, I will be happy with whatever happens.
Tim's undefeated. That's pretty good.
I mean, yeah.
Good for him.
Undefeated.
Clearly.
So am I.
You know, that was a much better fake out than what I thought it was going to be. I'm actually thoroughly impressed and happy with how this one went. So I want to thank Jamie and thank Eric for being on the show.
What were you, okay, when you said that, what were you trying to say? Did you think I was going to be unentertaining? Do you know me?
I thought you were just gonna be flat. I thought it was just gonna be really bad. Well, I don't know if you've seen other fake outs.
Have you seen me? I am the opposite of flat.
Well, I don't know. There has been some people that are on this when like I was just starting it out, when I was doing league reviews with other organizations outside of the UCL. They come on and I'd have to ooze what's it called? Ooze charisma, while all they did was give flat answers and not expound and they weren't talkative. They couldn't really go in on anything.
Right.
So I was worried about this one, but I was mistaken.
Part of it is when we did it in 15, it was just the two of us. Having a third person does definitely help.
Yeah.
I thought this went well.
I think so too.
All thanks to Jamie too, because he's the one that tried to revive this.
And
oh no, I just show up.
I just show up.
Alex does all the hard work.
From an abandoned gas station in Missouri.
Right.
Jeez.
Someone geolocated
there. You're still just there at a gas station.
Yeah.
I know.
Isn't it dark? It's dark here.
All right, let's get him out of here.
Let's get him home.
What are we doing?
I gotta drive.
All right, Jamie, do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you to the both of you as well. I thought this went well, and
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next episode we got coming up. I think we're following it up. Like I said, following up a banger with another banger.
Who do we got coming?
Oh, we got the Spectrier King himself, Trevor Trombley.
Force 180.
Young Trev, the Stunner.
The Stunner.
Is that actually what you call him? Because oh my goodness.
That's his DCL boy's name. Young Trev, the Stunner.
Wow. No comment.
Growth mindset. You know what?
Growth mindset.
You know what? I'm gonna play us out with growth mindset.
All right, if you say so.
That was fake out. That was week 3 and 4, episode 4. We'll see you next time.
Bye,
also,
everyone.
check out last place to playoffs. That should come out as well soon too. See ya.
Bye.
My time is now. I think there's someone controlling this war.
The king will rise again. Horrors of growing.
RNGesus will unburden you of this pain. All you have to do is turn to him. Come here, little one. In the name of RNGesus, we pray.
you little fig.
Wars are brewing.